Hello and welcome to the Green Profit Academy Pros podcast. This show digs into the challenges in growing a lawn care and landscape business while maximizing your profit. I'm Christine Era.
And I'm Steve Bousquet. We are the green industry experts in profit, growth, and leadership. Hey, Christine, how you doing today?
I am good. I've got some nice weather, a little bit of sunshine. It's not cold. It's not hot.
Sounds like a great day. Sounds like a Wednesday.
I can be outside.
Yeah.
I'm in here hanging out with you.
Hanging out with our listeners. Today, we're going to be talking about tips and tricks to start your season off strong and really having a great 2025. I know a lot of people's season is getting going. If you're way down south, you've been going, but I think the rest of the country's getting going now. So we're going to get you off in a good start. And we're going to be talking about marketing. We're going to be talking about some hiring tips. We're going to be talking about some pricing and some sales tips.
Nice. Sounds like all really good stuff that we could focus on and bring with us beyond just the launch of a season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we'll start with basic marketing stuff first, right? And I know there's some advanced marketers listening to this, but we'll do some advanced stuff too, but we're going to be doing some basic stuff. So I'm in a lawn group. We meet every Friday, and there's some advanced guys on that, but they really focus on the basics first too, right? So, and they track all their leads. And so some basic things they focus on are posting yard signs is still a big thing. So if you're doing lawn apps, having those nice lawn signs still get customers. And if you're doing landscaping or lawn maintenance, having those larger posting signs for yards still get customers. So that would definitely be a thing I would keep up with. Simple business cards still get customers, running into people at the supermarket, the ball game, soccer practice, having your customers hand out business cards to their neighbors, friends, coworkers, having your parents or your friends hand out business cards is an interesting way. People still hand out business cards, or those dot cards where you can tap phones and the other person has the business card on their phone. Is a cool way to exchange cards.
Yeah, that's interesting because I have business cards and I bring them with me places. And I think I've pulled out like two in the past, like 3 years, just two.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I have them. And then I have, that app where on my phone, they can just scan a QR code or take the picture of the QR code and it will give them my contact information. That's something else that I have that's pretty snazzy. So I've probably used that at least probably a dozen times versus the paper business card.
Yeah.
But
I tell people to take a picture of my business card and I'll give it to them, but I tell them to take the photo of it. I love QR codes. If something doesn't have a QR code on it, I get irritated. Like to get to the website, I don't want to type in anything or remember anything. I just want the QR code. I think I got really spoiled because traveling so much, all these restaurants and bars, everything, all the information is on a QR code. So you're like, I don't want a menu. Where's the QR code with my phone?
Yeah.
The other thing is truck signs are still big, and trailer signage. People have shared with me how much their trailers get seen because, if they're towing a trailer behind the truck, people are following the trailer halfway down the road or in the neighborhood. So that truck signage, you don't need to spend a fortune on those fancy wraps. As a matter of fact, sometimes those wraps make it difficult to see and read anything. So having simple truck signage is still a thing, and maybe the QR code leads them to your website or your Facebook. Is a good idea. We have QR codes. I don't know how much people use them, but truck signage, trailer signage is still important.
Yeah, and I think the point of making sure it's readable, and I'll drive through the neighborhoods. I'll drive, to various places and I'll see either yard signs or even on trailers or trucks. Because I mean, I'm always looking for landscapers in my area. Who are these guys? Or I see contractors out on the road and I look, or I see a yard sign and it grabs my eye. Make sure they're readable. That they're readable. If you're driving down the street, make sure your yard signs are readable and is sharing the information that, that's going to get them to wherever you need them to go. But I think that's really important because a lot of the signs I drive by, I can't read like half of them. I'm like, what is that sign? I know it's not like a security system sign, right? But I can't read it. And I've even been on the road where you could tell somebody had a logo designed that meant something for them, but it made no sense to me on whatever business it was and what type of business it was. So it just wasn't clear. And that was one of the first things I thought of. I was like, here, you spent all this money, you're driving around, and I can't even figure out what type of work you do. Obviously, you're a contractor of some sort.
Right. Yeah. So you don't want, I've seen graphic designers, right? They're so in love with their artwork, but you can't figure out what the business is doing or how to read the website or the telephone number. So, right, clean, simple. We're trying to get them to call us, not win graphic design awards.
Right. Yeah. It's not, to be cool or it looks cool or nobody's going to know if it's associated with something personal for you. So it's one of those things, make sure it's clear. And then also with the truck signs or trailer signs, I think that's a good place to put, something that your business stands for, right? It's kind of like that tagline or, everybody has like a different type of statement kind of associated with the business because that could get customers that you want to work with. It can attract them. So that's a good spot for those things. And I know, Steve, you have on yours, you'll have a little statement. Have seen your yard signs where it says like, this is the company. And then there's a little statement or a couple words that connect with the customer.
Yeah. So we'll have on the trucks, we'll say like lawn envy, with a question mark, or organic approach, or, organic approach, or great looking lawn, or, we'll have different taglines, different signs. Yeah. So just something, and always the lawnscience.com. So a way to let them know that they can find us. And that's, a key point, because when if I look at my Google search results, 65% of the people that find us online, it's an exact match. They're typing in lawnscience.com. So that means that is working, or the way our marketing is working. And then another 15 or 20% is a phrase match. So they're typing in some form of lawn science. So they didn't type in the exact lawn science, but it was a form of lawn science. So you're having that, whatever your name of your company is, or the .com of your company. So yeah, have that on your sign, have that easy to read. And I like it to about 12 to 15 feet away. I like to have it read. So, and our signs are pretty big, pretty simple, and have it match all your other artwork, and don't be too creative with it. You want it to be easy to read and easy to find.
Yep. Nice and clean.
And the trailers are, my trailers are not done up very well as far as marketing. I'll admit that. But I have seen guys' trailers who do a much better job than we do, and they are really, they're really nice. So that's something I have to improve on for sure. Next is uniforms for your team. We do a great job with this, and I've talked about this before, because we are working in people's yards. Mm-hmm. I definitely want people who are home at their houses to know who's in their yard. And so that's why I'm a big believer in uniforms that make it easy for my customers to see who's in the yard, but also the neighbors, to know who's working in their neighbor's yard. And it might not be the first day that they see the crews, but over a year or 2 years or 3 years, they see the same uniforms, the same easy to read uniforms. And, so it makes it easy for them to call next time that they need a service.
Yeah, I used to have a lawn care company in a rental property when I, lived in California. And the guy that used to come service it never wore a uniform. And I worked from home. My desk was right in front of a window that looked out into the backyard, which it was a, big, beautiful backyard. But it creeped me out every time the lawn guy came, because he would come first without all the equipment, and there would just be this guy walking through the backyard. And, it was like maybe he was wearing a hoodie that day, or, a dirty t-shirt or whatever it was. But I worked at home alone, and here is this guy going through my backyard, and it would startle me every time. And it wasn't always the same guy. It was like 3 different guys that would end up, coming, and they weren't even similar. I was like, oh, it's that guy that's this tall and, this skinny or whatever it was. There were 3 different guys that would come, and they didn't have a uniform. And it was every time it alarmed me that, yeah, I didn't know they were coming, when they were going to come. And when they did, there's this strange guy walking through my backyard. And so uniforms are nice. They're very much appreciated.
And it keeps the company cohesive, and you can charge more if you wear uniforms too, or people will pay more for companies that have uniforms for sure. And it makes people feel at ease, and they know who's in their yard. And that way you can control what your team wears. Like, people show up with ripped shorts or ripped jeans or ripped pants and shirts that don't look good. And it definitely keeps your company in a style and appearance that helps your brand.
Or baggy pants. I know that's been an issue for some people. They're like, these younger guys wear these baggy pants. And
baggy pants. Yeah.
Yeah. Baggy pants.
Yeah. Yeah. I control, and even from day one, we controlled the shirts, and then we control the shirts and the pants and the shoes even. Yep. Just to make sure everyone's safe in the eyewear and the all the safety equipment too. All right. So uniforms. Now we're going to get into kind of online presence stuff, and Facebook is kind of a big thing. Last week in the online in the lawn care group, we had Matt from Savant Marketing come on and talk about Facebook ads. So Facebook, and that went on for about an hour, but that could have went on for 3 hours. So Facebook ads is a big thing, but you really have to you have to know what you're doing, or you can really piss away a lot of money on nothing. So that's not for amateurs. But just Facebook in general, you should probably have some presence on Facebook. I don't know if you have to go crazy with Facebook, but definitely people are on Facebook, and you want to have a regular presence. How many times a week should you post? What time of day should you post? All that. I'll give you my best experience. You should probably post once a day, or at least every other day. Definitely on the weekends when people are reading Facebook. You should definitely post after 4:00 when more people are, home or not at work as much, or when they're at work and they shouldn't be reading it. But after 4:00, and you definitely want to post photos of people on Facebook. So just posting pictures of patios or lawns is not as interesting as people in stories about people on patios and lawns. One of our highest rated posts ever was me and my wife on a patio with a glass of wine laughing. Much higher, if you're just posting bricks or pavers, people don't know what that is. There's no connection to bricks and pavers. So that stories, cats, dogs, people get a much higher response. But let people know what it's about.
Are you sure your highest reviewed posting was that one and not the one of you and your wife on the lawn where she she kind of photo bombs you or video bombs you in the background, because that one was pretty good.
That one was good. That was the highest post. That was highest. Still, now Christine brought up a good point. Video is what people really want to see on Facebook. So short form video under 30 seconds, that got more reviews. So my wife, I was doing a video for the Facebook ad. My wife photobombed me. She was lifting a big branch up behind me when I was doing a video. It was hilarious. But video is really the highest engagement on Facebook. And any kind of funny video or interesting video, educational video gets more engagement. So the still photo is interesting, but video that is funny, entertaining, or educating gets way more eyes. And you can do story or you can do reels on Facebook. Again, I don't know how much work you're going to get out of it, but people will. I think Christine calls it trolling, or what do you call it?
Stalking. They stalk you.
Stalk. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They stalk you. So people will see it. They won't comment it or like it, but they will stalk you. So, we have about 1,600 people that like our page, which is not the most, but it's not the least. So I would definitely say put a little bit of effort into Facebook. Consistency is the best thing. So that is what I have found, and use video, mix forms, do some videos, some photos, be consistent. At least once a day is best. Every other day at a minimum.
Yeah. And Instagram, I'm not a big Facebook person. I'm not a big social media person, period. But Instagram, I like it a lot more because it's a lot quicker. There's videos on there. You'll typically get things in your feed that you watch. One of my favorite things is to watch time-lapse videos of landscape projects or renovations of yards, and even like a walkway or something like that, or a planter bed. That's pretty cool. We had a client recently do a time-lapse video of the entire crew getting ready to roll out in the morning for the snow. That got a ton of comments and views. And it was just really neat to see how everybody was coming together and getting ready to roll out. And so, things like that are great. And the thing I love about the video content or the postings is you can do one thing and put it in multiple places. So it serves different areas. So the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or even your website, you can reuse the content and use it to share examples of projects that you've done or how your crew works or the level of professionalism, whatever it is. But I will get sucked into those on a Saturday morning and end up watching at least a dozen different, time-lapse renovations of yards, patios, walkways, just anything that has to do with outside and it being redone. And it's one of my favorite things to do.
Yes. Instagram can be auto-linked to your Facebook. It does like the formats to be different. Instagram likes your photos squared, and it likes your the video to be formatted a little bit differently. So if you're going to shoot any kind of video for Instagram, it does not want video in landscape. So it wants your phone vertical. So just to be aware of that, if you're shooting video, do it, you hold your phone vertical, which after years of shooting, video landscape, it wants it just like Facebook does. It wants the phone in a vertical mode. So if you're doing that, shoot it in vertical. Instagram has a younger probably following, and they definitely will stay on Instagram a little bit longer. It's less, I would say, it's less social sharing than Facebook. Has a different probably use case where Facebook has more groups like community groups and different followings like that. So it definitely has its use. So Instagram, and then YouTube, which is the second most search engine used search engine in the world behind Google. you can have a good presence over there showing, projects, and then you can use that video you can cut it down, use Opus Clip and cut it down and use it on Facebook, and you can use it in Instagram. You can use YouTube to share videos with clients, hires, long format to show jobs before and afters. You can do the slow clips. YouTube, you can create big channels with that. It's really a great format, and it's free. So it's a great way to build up content for your landscape and lawn care company.
Excellent.
You have to be careful with YouTube. There are some lawn care and landscape companies that have large followings of 10 and 12-year-old kids because they love to watch the equipment and the jobs. So even though they are have a big following, it's not for the clients that are buying landscapes because they're watching the jobs for the equipment. So if you're trying to monetize it to build landscaping, you want to make sure that it's attracting the right kind of clients to build your lawn care landscape.
Yeah, a lot of how-to videos are great. It's going to attract, a kid's not going to necessarily look up a how-to video, right? But I will look up, or my husband will look up kind of like how-to videos and watch those. And typically we'll watch them. We'll have this idea like, oh yeah, this can't be that hard. And then we look up a how-to video from a professional, and then we go, never mind, let's go find somebody who's going to do this for us. So that's, I think, the how-to videos or best practice videos are really great to attract the right kind of person to your YouTube channel. And it's also educational. That's one thing I love is, nurture your audience through education, because as much as we know, and we kind of take advantage of that as the professionals, we know what we know. It's all this knowledge and skill that we've developed over time. And we tend to forget what other people know or how they perceive what we do. So though in our minds, it might be like, oh, we just know this stuff, it's really easy. Use the content that you put out there to educate your ideal customer, to help them understand it isn't easy and you are the expert. So they need to call you or your crew to get it done. So there's all kinds of things that people do as a profession where it is easy to them. People who are not in your profession, it is not easy for them, and they don't understand it.
And so how do you pick what videos to make for YouTube, right? The easiest way to get watches is there's two different ways. Like use Perplexity AI to find out what are homeowners searching online. What are they interested in? And then find out what the most searches are and make videos about that for landscaping or lawn care. Because there's no sense to make videos that no one's searching for, right? So, and you'll get a lot more views and answer a lot more questions if you're making videos that people are searching and have questions about. So that's one way. The other way is to look up the most watched videos in lawn care and landscaping. So if a video has 1 million or 3 million views, that means people are watching that video. They're watching that content. And then you can make a video about that kind of content and use that video as your kind of guide to what people are interested in. And then when you can make your video about the same or similar thing and put that video in your video as in the watch list. But that if you see a video that somebody made and it has 10 watches, no one's going to watch that. I made a video about a 9-bark shrub, Physocarpus, has like 50,000 views. So like people want to see a video about that type of shrub. So you could make more videos, but if it had 5 views, no one has interest about that shrub. So look and see the pruning about a endless summer hydrangea. I think there's some that I made one that has 100,000 views. There's some that have 2 million views. So that people have interest about how to prune endless summer hydrangea. So look online and see what people have interest in and make videos about that.
Yeah. And you may not be the champion of this, right? You might be listening to this and going, oh, when am I going to have time to make videos? I'm setting the guys up and I'm leaving the site. And so who's on the team? Who's the crew that's there? And you would be surprised how many younger workers you might have that might be interested in doing this or like doing this. So they might get excited about it, and you can delegate it and say, hey, you know, do you want to record this? And they could just set up their phone and do a time lapse video. And you can buy them a little tripod that they could set their phone on to do this and get it set up, and maybe just a portable battery charger for their phone, because it's going to eat up that battery life, right? And provide those solutions. And they will probably just volunteer to start setting up their phone to record some of the things that they're doing. And I would not be surprised if they get really excited about it, right? So talk to your team if you're going, this is a lot of work. This is not something I want to do. I know Steve loves to do videos and marketing, but if you're not that person, who on your team is that's already on the site, and maybe you have a couple guys and they can record some content and share with you. So they might just get really excited about it and do the job for you.
Yeah, you don't have to do all the videos, right? There's certain people love to do them, and you do have them do it. Yeah, yep. You don't have to be great at it. I wouldn't say that I'm great at it, even though I like to do it. So, absolutely, it's just more content for your clients. And we don't live in a we live in a big worldwide web, but our market is only 2,000 square miles. So I only need to get my video out to my part of, the world. So I don't need 1 million views. I have my Uncover the Secret to a Beautiful Lawn Care video. I have 10,500 views. And we send that to, after we do we give them a lawn care estimate, we drop it off, we send that out, and people watch it. Tells them how to sign up with us, what's in the lawn care bag, what's in the lawn care estimate. And, but the average watch time on that is like 1.5 minutes. So they're watching a good portion of that video. So, you can use YouTube videos for other things like helping you with sales and explainer videos. So I've also used them to help recruit people, to show people, what the company is about, and tours. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to use YouTube. All right. Next is for marketing, websites, having updated websites. And you don't need to pay $1 million to have a great website, but you also don't want to have a website that looks like a 1998 website, right? We want to have it be functional, and we want to have it look modern, and we want to have it be basically about 5 to 6 pages. We want to have a way to contact you by phone. We want to have a way they can contact you by email to get a request. We want to have your basic services on it. Like your main services need to be the main features on the pages, not like the one-off service that you do every 4 or 5 years. That doesn't want to be your headline. And or, I've had almost fights with people over, the 1 or 2 jobs that you do a year. Maybe you do, let's say you do a hardscape 1 or 2 a year. Don't have that as your landing page, right? If your main business is lawn applications, that should be your landing page. Or, if your main business is landscape maintenance, have that be your homepage. Like, make sure that you're really addressing what you do as your homepage, not what you want to do or you think you're going to do someday. Make sure that your website really represents your brand and what you're selling.
Yeah. So showcase your profit center on your main page, the service that's the money maker. And the other thing I would say is make sure it's loadable on a cell phone. Never have I ever gone to my computer and searched for a home service provider. I search it on my phone while I'm sitting at the table, or, sitting in the kitchen or on the couch talking to my husband. And what do we have in our hands? We have our cell phones. We don't have our computers. So make sure that your website is when someone searches it, it can load on a cell phone. So I've gone and looked at websites that have issues loading on cell phones, and I went and found somebody else because I'm like, I can't get through. I can't, find anything. And I don't want to even deal with this. So it's a friction point. So make sure it's loadable.
Core Growth Strategies provides business growth management solutions through cloud accounting, bookkeeping, and strategic business consulting programs. Our team works with small businesses in lawn care and landscape and trade industries throughout the U.S. We increase our clients' business acumen by creating business performance transparency through financials and strategic advisement based on industry best practices and benchmarks. Our experienced team provides support, guidance, and coaching, thereby allowing our clients to connect with viable data and discover their own solutions. Core Growth Strategies programs and services are designed to get your business from where it is now to where you have always dreamed it to be. Visit us today at coregrowthstrategies.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Don't miss our exclusive limited time podcast special. Just mention promo code GPA Pro to any member of our team during your complimentary consultation, or enter the promo code on our site when you sign up for one of our online programs. That's promo code GPA Pro.
85, I'm looking at my Google results right now. 85% of people search for us on their cell phone.
Yeah.
So, yep. That is, you have to find it on a mobile device. Yes. So, you should probably work with a professional. I would say the expectation lower end is going to be between $2,500 and $5,000. And the higher end is going to be around $20,000, depending on how many pages. But I would say for a really good web builder, I would say between $2,500 and $5,000 if they're going to really do it correctly and have the right content and backlinks and everything.
And that's just for a simple site.
Very simple site. And most people only need a simple site. You only need most lawn care and landscape people only need 5 to 6 pages, a really simple site. You need some before and after photos. You need to really keep it simple. You need only your main towns that you're working in. You don't need it to be complicated. Most people use the website as a way to contact you. It's almost like the new Yellow Pages. They're trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want a little social proof. They want some to see some reviews on your page, some before and after photos, but they're not looking for a huge gallery or a library. They're just trying to get a hold of you to set up a way to buy something from you. Yeah. If they're contacting you, they usually already have some kind of social proof already. All right. Next is phones. Using your phone as social, right? So making sure it's easy to get a hold of you. Having that phone number on the truck, having it on the trailer, having it on the website, and having somebody answer the phone. And how could this be a marketing tool? It is so powerful. Whoever answers the phone first usually wins, or whoever calls the customer back first usually wins. So that is a huge marketing tool because it's really a test. That phone call is the customer's first test of you. So if you can take care of them on that first phone call, you usually can take care of them for the rest of that relationship. So making sure that you're using that phone as a marketing tool, like call now and answer when they do call. So it's a big part of marketing. How you handle that is people handle that all different ways, answering services, or they have the phone, go right to them if they're working in the field, or they have their spouse or their wife or their husband answer, or their mom. Or they have someone in the office answer it. But it's very important to handle those phone calls. Or if they are leaving a message, letting them know when you're going to call them back. Because that's the most frustrating thing is leaving a message that you have no idea when you're going to get a call back.
Yeah. So that could even be part of your message when they're leaving a message, is let them know you will get a call back within X amount of hours, and then do that, whatever that is.
Yes. And you could be known as the landscaper who does that. Hey, I'm just letting you know I'm the landscaper who returns all his calls back the same day, by 7:00, or I call people back between 5 and 8, and this is what I do. And then they know that, versus leave a message and we'll call you back whenever.
Mm-hmm.
That's very frustrating. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is one of my favorite marketing ideas or concepts to talk about, and it's free, and that's why a lot of marketing companies don't talk about it. It's Google Business Profile, which used to be called Google My Business Page, but now it's called Google Business Profile. And 65% of all businesses online get found through Google Business Profile, and it's a free service that Google Business provides, and it can be done really well, and it can be done very poorly. So if you search your business on Google Business or Google, you should come up, and you should be able to find yourself, and you'll see what you look like. And this is where most companies are found. And so I'm just going to go over kind of the advantages of using Google Business Profile. It can really get you a lot of work, since 65% of the country is finding their landscapers in any home service provider on there. But how do we get found, and how do we stand out, and how do we make it easy for companies, people to find us, right? That's the question. So first thing is you search yourself, and you want to make sure that you are even there. And you want to make sure that you have a profile that is correct, right? So you want to make sure that your name is correct, your business name is correct. You can go into edit profile. If it's not, you want to make sure that you own your business profile. And every once in a while, when I search for a business, it will ask me, hey, do you want to own this business profile? So that means the business does not own their own profile, which is very, very dangerous. So make sure you own your business profile, and make sure that your name, address, telephone number, location is correct. You want to put all of that stuff in there. You can put the business hours, the phone number, location, and then you can get what's called certified or verified through Google. So they're going to verify that you're a legit business. You actually are at that location. That is actually you. They're going to ask for inside photos, outside photos. They might ask for a live video to make sure it's you. And once you're a verified business, then they're going to put you on the map. So then you'll show up literally in Google Maps, and that gives you a lot more verification, and you'll show up all the time on Google when people search you once you're verified. So getting verified in Google is so important. It's crucially important to becoming available when people search for you. So Google verification, crucially important. So do that. If you have a hard time with that, reach out to me, email me, find a way to get a hold of me, and I can help you figure that out. Once you're verified, you're going to have access to all kinds of tools on this Google Business Profile. There's going to be, you can add photos. So when you add photos on Google Business Profile, you don't want to, again, like I was talking about with the bricks, just add photos of pavers and lawns. You want to add your branding. So you want to have photos of your trucks, photos of your crews in uniforms, photos of your jobs with job site signs, and photos of your shop, photos of your trailers with the signs on it. And they want to see some customers. And you want to update your photos at least once a month. You want to add 1 or 2 photos. And this helps Google know, what you do, put descriptions of the photos in there, and that you're real and that you're updating, so you're active. And it helps Google lead people in your market to where you are and what you do. Super, super important. Another one, and a lot of people miss this, is products. You can put what you sell in there. So you can have your products like, I do lawn care, and this is what I do and how much I charge. So you can list all your products, lawn care applications. So I have grass seeding, what I do. I have before and after photos, grub control, what I do, products I use, how I apply it, landscape services, crabgrass control, lawn care services, lawn aeration. So you can have your products in there. Again, what this is doing is it helps Google let people in my market know what I do, the products I use, when I do it, how much it costs. So if people are searching for those products and services, Google says, hey, this guy does it. This is where he's at. This is how much it is. He's in your market. And it goes on and on. And this is where you can ask for reviews, and super important to ask reviews in your Google business profile, right? So this is where people tell you they love you. Sometimes people tell you they hate you, but there's a little ask for a share review in there. And this builds your business getting reviews. So we have 124 reviews. We have over 100 5-star reviews. And we just started using a service to help us build the reviews, but this is where you're going to build your reviews. There's another function in here. It's called Add Update, where you can add a photo and you can add an update about your business. It's not social media. This is kind of where you want to promote your business, which you're offering for sale, and you want to do this about once a week. That's kind of the basic things that you should be doing in your Google business profile. And guess what? It's all free. That's why marketing agents don't talk about it, because they can't sell it to us. And I don't blame them. Why I wouldn't be talking about stuff to clients I can't sell them. But these are things that people can do that will really help your business, that take a little time and energy, but don't cost money. They just take time.
And one of the things I'll say about this, because this is something that we, of course, worked on, is Google can be very picky about the reviews that you get. We have gotten probably about twice as many than what we have on our website. They have removed half of them. So they'll object to the review for whatever reason. It doesn't make any sense. Why? Some of them, they'll say, yes, we'll accept this, and others, they'll take it down. So one of the things that I found was, if I went in there and I commented on the review, they don't take it down. So we've lost several reviews because we weren't commenting on it when we got a notification that we got a review, and Google was just, basically taking it down for no rhyme or reason, because we contacted them and talked to them about it. And we had to then ask the client to, hey, we had a review up there. For some reason, it got taken down. Could you go repost? We never want to ask that of our customers. So, that's one of the things to where if you get a notification into the email associated with your Google business profile that, hey, you got this review, go in, comment on the review, even if it's just a few words of like, hey, thank you for leaving this review. We love that, to hear that your grass is turning out the way that you expected it to be, or whatever it is. Just acknowledging it will make sure that they don't take that review down.
Yeah, that's a great point. I forgot to mention that. Comment on every review, whether it's good or bad. Always comment and thank them for giving the review. Thank them for pointing out whether you made it good or bad. And sometimes, people have left us a bad review. We went and made good on something. Sometimes it was our fault. Sometimes it was not a crazy customer. Sometimes we did something that was not as good as it should have been, and we did make it good and better, and they reposted the review. And other times it was just a customer that was like trying to extort us. Like, if you don't give all the money back from 2 years ago, we're going to give you a bad review. I was like, what? Wait, what? Like, Very unusual. So you're going to get weird people like that too. But, sometimes people just have different expectations than we can perform. But 99.9% of the time, the reviews are going to be legit and good. So, always comment on those, whether they're good or bad. Otherwise, yeah, Google does not like that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's pretty much on marketing. That's quite a bit. All right. So we're going to go over some other tips and tricks on sales. Make sure that you're ready to go out this season. Make sure one of the tips I would recommend really is having your price sheets ready. So you're not figuring out pricing when you're at your sales calls. Have your price sheets for mowing, your price sheets for your mulching, your price sheets for your lawn apps, your price sheets for anything that you can ready to quote people when you're ready to go. And one of the things that was shared with me, we worked on a price sheet with one of my coaching clients for per yard mulching, but front yard, backyard. So because it's so much more effort to mulch in the backyard because you got to wheelbarrow or carry that mulch in the backyard. So we broke out about 6 or 7 jobs and looked at if the mulch goes to the backyard, how much does it have to be versus if the mulch is in the front yard. So he really broke out the job. 5 yards in the front, 5 yards in the back is different than all the mulch in the back or all the mulch in the front. So, maybe looking at some of your jobs, like where is the work in the yard? And so that was pretty helpful. So having pricing sheets, having your sales proposals ready to go this spring and not standing on site trying to figure out jobs, you'll be more accurate and you'll get the sales quotes done quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Also, how are you going to follow up with the sales calls? Have that ready to go before you start the season. Are you going to follow up with emails, texts, phone calls, or a combination of all three?
Right. And a combination of all three is the best approach because, some people check their emails, right? Some people, they'll get a text message and it can have a link to the quote. I've gotten those before. Those are great because then I can instantly respond, or I can say, let me look this over with my husband and I'll get back to you shortly, or this evening or whatever it is. And for myself, I don't love phone calls. It's just one more thing where I'm like, oh, I've got to talk to somebody now after I've been talking to people all day. So phone calls aren't always my favorite thing. So I would say, all three are a good approach because you're giving them the option of how they want to communicate. So I really appreciate that as a busy, business person and, parent and wife. There's all these things I have going on. So having three options on how to communicate and respond is very much appreciated in a busy day-to-day life.
Yes. And then 2 other things I would share is sending quotes to people that didn't ask for a price for. So if you have a client that you do mulching for and they didn't ask for, but they're not a mowing or pruning client, give them a mowing price and a quote for pruning, even if they didn't ask for it. Like you can literally, I worked with someone in Pennsylvania. We increased his sales by 30% just by doing that. So he went over everybody and anybody he did work for, and he gave him quotes for everything that he could possibly do work for, whether they asked for or not. And he immediately increased his business by 30%. Just by doing that. So if you have their square footage for their yard, or you have their phone number and their address, you can give them prices for all other services. And people are like, oh, I didn't realize you did that. He heard that over and over. He's like, well, I'm in landscaping. We've worked for you for years, and they're like, oh, I didn't know you pruned, or, oh, I didn't know you mowed, or, oh, I didn't know you did mulch, whatever, or bed edging, whatever it was. I didn't know you did lawn apps, So he gave out prices to everybody and followed up, and he just sold a ton more work, 30% more work. So give prices without them knowing for it. And the other thing is give people some options instead of yes or no. So if you just give them one price for the job and only one price, the only option is yes or no. So if you can give them two options, the mulching job is 800 or 900. So it's 800 for the hemlock, premium hemlock, and it's 700 for the pine bark mulch. Now at least there's an option. Or it's 800 for the hemlock, and we're going to use bed weed control in there to stop weeds. Or it's 700 without the bed weed control. At least they have an option for something, right? Mm-hmm. But if we're just giving one price, the only option ever is yes or no. So if you can offer some option, maybe it's mulch and edging, maybe it's mulch with preen, maybe it's mulch with pruning, and maybe it's without the edging, maybe it's without the preen, whatever it is. But if you can always throw in an option or a choice, then the only choice is not yes or no. So something to consider. All right. Next tip, billing customers. And I know Christine's going to like this, right? When you do work and you're selling, get deposits from people wherever possible, whenever possible. And then the next one is invoice and collect your money ASAP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this area, so just a couple of things on this one. If you have somebody working for you in sales, right, they may not be as comfortable asking for the money, right? They might be comfortable selling the job, but there might be some issues around asking for the money. So taking that out makes it easy. So having your collection on how people pay and when things are due already written into the agreement, so they can, and it could be highlighted right on the contract to where it says, hey, we've got to collect a 20% deposit on this job. At this phase, we're going to come back and ask for another 20% or 35%, whatever it is. Or you might even have their credit card on file where they get notified that, hey, at this phase of the job, we're going to charge you, this phase of the job. So having those outlined in advance is really important. Having it written in your contract so it's not something that the salesperson or whoever has to thoroughly explain. They could just point at it and say, hey, these are the payment terms. I will either be asking for these or the office will be, charging the card. And then also prepayments, like those are really great to have in place, is to have people set up on the prepayment. So then they're already paid for their service and their applications for however you do it. I know, Steve, you do it in rounds where they have to pay, or they can pay for all of their rounds that you deliver. So those prepayments, an easy online system is necessary. And I know there's companies out there to where they say, oh, well, we don't want to take credit cards because there's fees involved with those, right? So in some states, you can charge a credit card fee. You could say, yes, we can take credit cards and we're going to charge a fee for that credit card. So here's the fee. So you have to make sure, you're basically looking to recoup the cost. You don't want to, price gouge them because they're doing a credit card. But if you think about it with lawn care or landscape, really, landscape jobs, the American people live off of credit for the most part, right? They're comfortable buying things on a credit card. So if they want some sort of curbing, or they want their lawn redone, or they want a landscape job done or something like that, they're looking at putting it on a credit card. They're not going to do it just by taking the money out of their bank. That's not common. So, when someone's looking at, oh, I really want, this professional curbing for my lawn, or, oh, I want that new flower bed put in before my family comes and visits, or whatever it is, they're looking to put it on a credit card. So don't, walk away from money on the table because you're saying, oh, we don't want credit cards. There's fees associated with them. How can you recoup that fee? Or just think through, if you can't recoup that fee, include it, in your pricing somewhere. But don't leave money on the table because you're not offering an easy way for the customers to pay, whether it's an online portal or credit card or access to their account. So take out those friction points when it comes to paying and collecting as well.
Yeah. There's nothing more frustrating than working really hard in this business and chasing money. It's so frustrating. It's so disheartening. All right. So get paid, get your deposits, get paid as soon as possible. All right. Next tip, new hires, right? People are going to be hiring, and I got my crew outside cleaning the sidewalk off. So can hear the blower in the background. Springtime. I love it. So new hires, hire grownups. That's my tip, and pay a little bit above average, right? So I call them grown-ups. Hiring grown-ups, people that understand like how to show up on time, take care of equipment, behave at work. It's so much easier to build and grow a company hiring grown-ups than immature kind of rough people that you're always having challenges with. And one of the ways to find if they're grown up is, instead of just doing a phone interview and then an in-person interview, doing a working interview. So we've been doing working interviews where people come in for new hires. They work a full day with us, and now even 2 days, to see, are they a good fit in the company? Is this the job that they want? So I really recommend, paying a little bit above the market wage and hiring grown-ups and doing a 1 or 2 day work interview. We pay them for the work, we pay them for the time they work, but that working interview, it's a game changer. And the people really appreciate it. They've never done it anywhere else. They're like, I've never done this, but I'm so glad because I got to meet you guys and see that what this is about. And other people have done it at the end of the first day. They're like, this is not for me. We've had people at the end of half a day. They're like, this work is not for me. It's way too much. It's too fast paced. The trucks are too big, or it's hot outside, or it's cold, or it's rainy. And even in the office, we hired a new bookkeeper, and they were like, no, too many customers, too much happening, or too quick, or they made too many mistakes, or the culture fit wasn't right. So the working interview is a big hit with us.
Yeah, I would agree. A working interview, it really gives you the opportunity before you get invested into that new team member, or that team member gets invested into the company, to know, is this the right fit? Do they have the skills, that I'm looking for, that we need for the company? And especially in, I think, this industry, there's so much work that goes into if somebody's doing landscaping or pavers or things like that, to where they're like, oh, I really want to work outside. This would be an amazing job. And then they go to do it and they realize how exhausting it is. So, it may not just be for them. So that 1 or 2 day working interview, it's an opportunity for both you and the person who's interviewing to see, is this the company I want to work for? Right. So it gives that time and space, and then you can make a solid decision after that. And also the other team members that they're working with, they're going to give you feedback on that person. So you might put them out on a job. And I know, Steve, this has happened in your company, where the person came back and said, well, this is what happened. And it just kind of was a red flag for me. They might not have done that if they were working with you directly, Steve, but they were comfortable doing it around another employee. And so we know that's not the person to hire.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The working interview, really, you're better off finding out up front than hiring them 2 weeks later. Yeah.
Excellent.
So it's kind of like dating. Not that I've dated in 40 something years, but you want to find out before you put a ring on it, I guess. Right. All right. Next is, let's see, pricing. Review your current pricing. So one of the things that I had been guilty of years ago was keeping clients too long without going up on their pricing because I was afraid they were going to drop me and I was like losing money on them anyway. So if you know you have a customer who's a loser, I mean, you're losing money on, go up on their prices this year, like where it needs to be, and just get another customer. Now's the time to do it. So if it's $50 and it should be a $75 mo, just raise the pricing. You'll get another customer. Don't, eat that loss for another year. And then when you get a new customer, charge them the right price. Just pick one customer. Don't do everybody, but just pick that one customer. You know who it is. You're losing on, and just raise the pricing. Just promise me you'll pick one and do that. Next is new clients this year. You're going to go up a little bit, go up, your 5% this year on the new clients. So they're paying more than your old clients are paying because they don't know what you were charging before. They don't know you went up. So those are the easiest people to raise prices on because they had no idea what you were charging. We've been doing it for the past 3 or 4 years, and you get no price resistance because they didn't know that the prices went up. So that's the easiest way to raise prices is on your new price list that you're putting together because you're going to have a new price list. You're not winging it or making stuff up. You get your price list. And then kind of the last thing we'll end with is because people ask me, what should we be charging and this and that. So the easiest thing I'm going to kind of pricing is when you're figuring out your pricing, one of the numbers, and if you want to figure this in detail out later, you can contact me and we can go over it. But for labor this year, it's about $2 a minute per man hour, right? $2 a minute per minute, $2 per minute, right? So it's $120 an hour per man hour. So back in the 90s, early 90s, it used to be $1 a minute, and now it's $2 a minute. Mm-hmm. So for curb time. So if someone works 8 hours a day and labor efficiency is about 75%, they're only working or you're only billing about 6 hours. So you're going to bill them at $720 at that rate at 75%. So when you're figuring if a job takes one person 30 minutes, that's a $60 job. So if it takes two people 30 minutes, that's double. It's $120. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how to figure out your pricing if you want a quick cheat. And then for material, right, the markup is double it, right? If something costs you 20, it's 40. That's the quick cheat. That is where most people are missing. They're not marking up their materials enough. They're marking it up 20 or 30%, which is not even close to what it should be marked up because they have to go get it. They have to handle it. Then they have to be responsible if something goes wrong with it. They have to manage it. So they're not getting paid for any of that, and they're not recovering any overhead in their business for it. So if they really track it, it's costing them 15 to 30% to handle that material. It's a negative. Most people don't realize that any material handling is the negative in their business because they're just not marking up enough. So you need to double it. That's like the minimum you should be doing. If you're paying wholesale, if you're already paying retail, you're overpaying anyways. You probably can't double it. But if you're paying wholesale for anything, doubling it. So 2x is the minimum you're going to be marking it up. And the labor, like I said, $2 a minute per person is kind of the cheat.
Because you're looking at if somebody's working an 8-hour workday, but they're only productive for 6 hours, then you have to pay them for those 8 hours. But they're only generating revenue for 6 of those hours. And the same concept goes, you got to think of this as the big picture, right? If you're paying paid time off, then there's non-production time that those production hours need to pay for. It's that paid time off. Right. So that's where we really need to get your pricing dialed in to make sure it covers your labor burden, which that labor burden would include those non-production time. just like training's non-production time. So you got to think of all the time those guys are out there in the field and your team is working, generating money. So if they're only 75% of the time they're generating money for you, you still have to pay them for that other 25%, whether it's in a day or it's their paid time off or their training or they're cleaning the shop. So that could be where you're seriously bleeding in your business, is you don't have your pricing really tied to your production time to cover your non-production time, your labor burden.
Well said. Yep. It's the days, the holidays you're paying for. It's rain time. They're cleaning the shop. They're fixing stuff. They're driving here. They're going to pick this up, that up, any of those times. So that's why those rates are what they are. And if you need help figuring that out, or if you want to figure out your pricing exactly, we're here to help. So reach out to us at Green Profit Academy. And thanks for listening to this podcast. And we hope that your season is starting off on the right foot. And we're looking forward to you joining us on the next podcast.
And if you'd like to request a topic, please look at the link in the show notes and you can reach out to us and let us know, what do you want us to talk about? What do you need help with? We are here. So send us a little note and let us know what you need some support on.
Thanks.